Guten Abend, good evening, everybody. Monseigneur, Madame Minister, les Freunde, dear friends, first of all, welcome to the Arendt House. You all made it despite the weather situation. My name is Bob Kalmes. I'm a partner here at Arendt. And on behalf of all the partners at Arendt, I'm happy and proud to be able to host this Pulse event here at the Arendt House. I guess some of you know that Arendt has always been involved in helping and assisting growth companies in Luxembourg. As we speak right now, we are very proud that our teams are working on helping some of the companies that have been announced over the last few weeks in Luxembourg to establish themselves over here. But we are all also, and we have always been also, helping startup companies. That is on serious financing, that is on employment law, that is IP, IT, and other legal services. Now, Pulse. The first time I heard about Pulse was when Patrick did his Tour de Luxembourg, I should say, 3-4 years ago. And he also stopped here at the Arendt House. And he met Philip and myself, and he had scribbled down a couple of notes on the paper. So these were first ideas. But I must say some of these ideas have been implemented, and some of these ideas have become a reality. So congrats on that. I think the entire Pulse team made that really happen. That was the first time I heard about Pulse. Now, the last time I heard about Pulse was, I would say 2-3 weeks ago. I attended one of your events in Bonnevoie. And the event is called Ask a VC. So you would have a couple of VC managers, and then you have young startups in the room. And I must say, the vibrant energy and the level of communication, of intelligence that was in that room is something we wouldn't have seen here in Luxembourg 10 years ago. And probably even 5 years ago. This was quite rare. So again, you made that happen, or you contributed to making that happen, and I think we have to congratulate you for that as well. So with all of that, we read a lot in the media, the question whether Luxembourg is now a startup nation. I think it's a very debatable question, and I will leave that to the speakers later on to discuss. But I think what's not debatable is that Luxembourg is getting there. Luxembourg is getting there with a very fast pace. And that's really thanks to associations like Pulse, but also many other public-private associations and private players, entrepreneurs, and other enablers. And I'm really looking at all of you in this room because you do form that ecosystem that is advancing at a good pace. So my message to all of you in the room is very simple. You are always welcome here at the Arendt House. And with that, and without further ado, I wish you a great and inspiring event with Pulse. Merci.
Firstly, welcome everybody. We're very, very honored to have you all turn out. We even had quite a long waiting list, so very, very much appreciate it. Pulse is an association dedicated to startups. Our job is really to represent the voice of startups, and as a group of founders, what we really try and do is bring to the table the challenges that we as founders have faced. I think, as mentioned, there's a lot of amazing progress that's being made in Luxembourg. There's a lot of amazing actors. What we try and ensure happens is that we have the people that have walked the road. We have the people that have faced the challenges. We've had the people that have had the late nights. And we just want to ensure that the ecosystem essentially listens to that voice. And we're very excited of the progress that we've made so far. Tonight, you'll hear from all of our team. You'll hear from, there'll be a few surprises in the mix as well. I won't spend too much longer. I would like to now invite to the stage Minister Margue that will join us. Thank you so much.
Your Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to be here with you tonight to celebrate our startup community. As you may have noticed, we have published a few weeks ago our national strategies on AI, quantum, and data, because we believe that all of those areas are closely interrelated, and we need data to use AI and the other way around. These strategies will guide our development in those key areas that we have chosen over the next years. 5G, quantum internet, satellite constellations, and all kinds of those tools that you are also dealing with, they are not just tools, but they are also enablers of economic growth. They are also enablers of resilience, and this is something we talk about very much in the current geopolitical context. Robust connectivity infrastructure, and this is where I'm in charge of, is really also the foundation to enable us to implement all those strategies. Without a robust connectivity infrastructure, we cannot do much. We have provided you through the strategy also with a few elements regarding startups, because startups, they are really acting in all of those areas, and they are key for our technological development and also in our race for sovereignty. We therefore need an environment that is favorable to the development of startups. And as you may have heard, the Minister of Finance has announced recently also new measures for carried interest. He wants to modernize the carried interest regime in order to align it with what is happening in other jurisdictions that offer more favorable tax treatment, in order to make sure that our environment is more attractive for the private asset industry. But it's also about a regime that is more favorable regarding stock options. And this is something that you have called for a very long time. We need to make sure to be able to appeal foreign professionals and startup employees in Luxembourg. This also contributes to the country's reputation as a dynamic and forward-looking fintech hub. As we know, that talent is very important for startups. We want to make sure as a government that we remain a leading financial center, but also a leading center for technological evolution. On the other hand, we need to make sure that we also have the national talent here in Luxembourg. And this is the reason why one of the accents that we wanted to focus on in the AI strategy is also the adoption of AI. We want to make sure that people know how to use AI, because when they know how to use it, they can use it in the best possible way. AI may also be used to assess skills, and this is why we also supported my department, so the SMC, as we call it, that's the department in the Ministry of State that is in charge of media connectivity and digital policy. We also supported a project that is called PIX. It's the tool that you might have heard of, and it allows people to assess their skills in order to guide them also at a later stage to upskill or to reskill. And we also need to invest in our youth, because they are the most able to adapt, and they are the most connected generation ever that we have met. And this is why we need to provide them with the necessary skills, tools, and opportunities also to lead in the digital age. That means that our digital education needs to be adapted, the curricula need to be adapted, and we're all working on this. Luxembourg does not act alone. That's very important for Luxembourg to also develop itself in a European context. And we have been part of a European Union that we're actually proud of. We are proud that we want to achieve digital sovereignty within the EU. And this is also the reason we've been part of many European initiatives, such as the Iris Square constellation, that's very important, but also the European Digital Decade Program. That is a program that measures the success of the countries regarding different areas in the field of digitization, where we actually received a very good score a few weeks ago. We are fully committed to those European initiatives. We believe that we need to strike the right balance between regulation and innovation when we talk about European legislation, because we know that too much regulation undermines innovation. On the other hand, regulation needs to be also a means to allow companies to strive and to innovate in confidence. Together with my department, we are working on an environment that is favorable for fintech regulation, but we also want to safeguard our European values, because we are confident that we can achieve a lot within the European Union. We, however, also need to be acting responsibly. As we build our digital infrastructure, we need it not only to be smart and secure, but also to be sustainable. It is our duty to make sure that innovation does not come at the cost of our planet. And startups, they may also play a role in this regard. They may contribute to the solutions that are innovative and that help us fight the climate crisis. Luxembourg, therefore, is committed to a green digital transformation. Sustainability must be embedded in every layer of our digital strategy, from fiber to cloud, from AI to quantum. The future is not something we wait for, but the future is something that we build together and responsibly. And this is why I want to assure Pulse also that an association that my department has supported from the very beginning, that we will also support you within the next years. And I would like to thank you for the valuable work you do in supporting startups, in guiding startups, but also in giving them a voice. I wish you a very nice evening.
Thank you so much, Minister Margue. I would like to now call to the stage Mr. Thelen from the Chamber of Commerce to give us his insights on startups.
Your Royal Highness, dear Minister Elisabeth Margue, dear Genna, dear all, it is a pleasure to be with you at this annual gathering of Luxembourg's vibrant startup community. Let me begin by thanking Pulse for the kind invitation and above all for your continued commitment to giving startups a voice in our country. Startups position Luxembourg as a country that is open and ambitious. They prepare to engage with industries and technologies of tomorrow. But to fully realize this potential, we must look beyond the borders, and Europe, stands at a strategic crossroads. To unlock Europe's full potential, we must build a startup ecosystem that is not only resilient, but global in reach and impact. We must also acknowledge a changing global context. While the US remains the leading startup nation, shifting political dynamics are making transatlantic collaboration more complex. If Europe wants to chart its own course to be a sovereign force of innovation, and not just a consumer of foreign tech, then the time to act is now. And we must build a Europe where startups don't leave, but stay, grow, and lead. And this action starts here in Luxembourg. Over the past 15 years, Luxembourg has taken significant progress to build a startup ecosystem from the ground. And what began as a handful of courageous initiatives has grown into a coherent and coordinated innovation landscape. But we still have work to do. We need to do better when it comes to scale-up capital. Too many of our promising companies leave Luxembourg, not because they, when they reach the growth stage, not because they want to, but because they must. And we have the capital in the country, but we still need stronger mechanisms and incentives to direct it toward innovation. We also need to modernize our tax and regulatory framework to better support high-growth startups. We must send a clear signal that people are our most valuable asset. And perhaps most importantly, Luxembourg needs to continue nurturing a cultural permission to take risks. The Chamber of Commerce has proudly played a central role in the transformation. And in 2016, we launched the House of Entrepreneurship, a one-stop shop for aspiring founders and entrepreneurs. And in 2018, we opened the House of Startups and the Luxembourg City Incubator, providing a dedicated space for the startup community. Among these initiatives, the House of Startups has become a flagship in Luxembourg's startup ecosystem. With over 170 startups today and more than 500 since the creation, the House of Startups brings together incubators, investors, and key ecosystem actors under one roof. This year, the House of Startups was recognized among the top 150 of Europe's leading startup hubs by the Financial Times and Statista, ranking 26 overall. This is a milestone not only for us, but for Luxembourg's visibility and attractiveness as a place for innovation. We are also strong supporters of ecosystem players like Elban, Technoport, Loft, Polwirt Incube, Lux Innovation, and of course Pulse. And we invested in the Digital Tech Fund and play an active role in strengthening public-private collaboration across sectors. Our commitment goes beyond infrastructure and supporting different initiatives. Among other things, we advocated for the SRL Simplifié to make it easier and faster to launch a company. We pushed also for a modern second chance law to remove the stigma of failure and encourage risk-taking. We are among the first to identify the growing difficulties faced by founders when opening a professional bank account. And we initiated early discussions with the Ministry of Finance, ABBL, and other stakeholders to find swift, practical, and lasting solutions. Well, I have to admit that this issue is not fixed yet. We support also the current draft law introducing a tax credit for investments in innovative startups to unlock more private capital for high potential ventures. And we continue to push for a comprehensive startup-friendly employee stock option framework to give Luxembourg-based companies the tools they need to compete for global talent. The Chamber of Commerce is also driving two major strategic initiatives that open new frontiers for our startups. First, Lux AI Hub. This is a report of more than 30 key recommendations to accelerate AI adoption in companies of all sizes, to improve access to funding, and to develop Luxembourg's talent pool. And second, Luxembourg for Defense, a strategy to strengthen Luxembourg's industrial base in defense and dual-use technologies. It outlines 10 concrete recommendations, from boosting funding and research to improving access to European programs. The initiative supports the emergence of a defense-oriented tech sector and the newly created Luxembourg Defense Industry Association called Lux Defense, and the chairman is among us today, André Wilmes. So to conclude, let me say something more personal. First, I would like to extend on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce and our chairman, Werner Ernst, sincere thanks to His Royal Highness Hereditary Grand Duke for being here with us tonight. Your continued engagement in innovation and economic matters is deeply meaningful. We look forward to seeing this support continue as you take on your future responsibilities in October. And your presence tonight is a strong signal of your commitment to this ecosystem and to the development of our economy as a whole. Then a message concerning Pulse. From day one, the Chamber of Commerce has actively encouraged the creation of Pulse, together with Patrick Kersten, and we are very proud to remain one of its strongest partners since the beginning. And finally, I would also like to warmly thank Genna for your remarkable leadership. You have raised, I think, 20 million euros very recently with your startup, representing the voice of founders while scaling one of the country's most promising startups. Gina, you have all our recognition and support. So, to all of you tonight, founders, investors, builders, and believers, thank you very much for your resilience and your vision. We look forward to building this future with you. Startups are our bet on what Luxembourg's economy can and will become in the next decade. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your input and your words. Now is the time we're going to jump to the Pulse team, where we're going to give you a little bit of an overview of what we've been doing. And to kick off that, I'd like to welcome Vincent to the stage, where he will take you through some of the member activities.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Vincent, Deputy CEO for Steelshed Solutions, and I'm very happy to share a few key figures with you tonight. Today, Pulse brings together more than 300 members, with 85% startup members and 30% support members. Let's take a quick step back. In the summer of 2022, the association was created. 1 year later, we reached 155 members. Then, 227 in 2024. And today, in July 2025, we are proud to have grown by 35% to reach 305 members. Giving meanings to this community, building connections, encouraging meetings and synergies. That's the result of the fantastic work done by Marielle, the board members, and of course our President Genna. And I want to thank them warmly. But this is only the beginning. Indeed, we have amazing momentum and our ambition is clear, to make your voice heard even louder here in Luxembourg and beyond. So tonight, I have a simple request for you. You often ask us, what can Pulse do for me? And that's a fair question. But allow me to ask another one. What can you do for Pulse? The answer is so simple. Tomorrow morning, after this great evening, please talk about Pulse. To a fellow entrepreneurs, to someone inspiring in your network, to someone who is looking to grow in Luxembourg. If each of you has just one conversation, it could be enough to bring new people joining Pulse. And together, with more energy and more voices, we will be stronger to share your needs, talk about your challenges, and help grow the whole community of startups in Luxembourg. So don't forget to think about Pulse today, tomorrow, and the day after. Thank you all for your energy and support. And now please welcome Tom and eLfy.
It's a real pleasure to take the floor tonight, and thank you all for being here in such great numbers for our annual summer party, a moment we look forward to every year to celebrate what we've built together. Now that the vision and numbers have been shared, Tom and I are just here to talk about something as important, because we're going to talk about apéro, great conversation, and good vibes. Because, yes, Pulse is also about monthly events that bring our community to life. And Pulse is not just a name, it's an energy, something that helps ideas to move forward. It's our way of making things happen through connection, inspiration, and also collaboration, of course. Inspiring talks, honest conversation, real connection, whether in person, in shorts, or live streaming also through our YouTube channel. And why do we do it? Because we believe that human connection makes progress grow faster than any business plan. So let Tom explain our great monthly format.
Thank you, eLfy, for introducing the events of Pulse. I think as Pulse, really one of our missions is founders to founders, to really help upcoming founders with the experience of founders that have already gone the way. And our events, they are there to really support them. And either it's through founder relations or through other relations with experts that help them on their step and in their next journey. So one of the key highlight events that we do is the Ask a VC event in collaboration with the Chamber of Commerce and LPA. It's an event where there's no filters. You can come in and you can ask any question you ever wanted for a VC. How does it work to raise funds? What does VC, what do they look at? And what does it take for your startup to potentially raise funds in the future? So it's one of our key events that always has a great success, and it really matches the founders with the VCs that have the financial means to back them in the future. The next one is Ask an Expert. As a founder, you have to navigate a lot of complex challenges. It might be on taxes, it might be on IP, sales, strategy, and a lot of different topics. One of our missions is to bring together the experts and the founders, meet their needs, and help them exchange on those topics, give them tips, and help them move forward in their journey. The next one is in the ring discussions. This is more like an interactive session where we bring different people with different expertise, and we have very open discussions about topics that are at the top of mind for founders. One of them, for example, was dilution, or how to also evaluate early stage startups. So if you go into funding, the question is always like, how much is my startup really worth? How much of my startup do I have to give to investors if I raise funds? These are all key topics that we keep hearing from the community, we organize events around it, and we have very open and honest discussions about it. And then lastly, we do founder trainings, which is more structured sessions where we have different topics that we also get a lot of feedback from the founders, and then we go through those topics in detail, we structure them, we guide them, and we help the founders and the entrepreneurs move forward with those specific topics. So this is a summary of all the events that we do. If you haven't attended them, you're very welcome to. This is also what we plan to do in the future. There might be some new formats coming, but we really see a strong need in helping educating, in helping supporting the founders and entrepreneurs, and this is a big part of what we do with the events. And with this, I'm pleasure to give the word to Patrick Kersten, our past president. Thank you.
Hello, some of you may be saying, oh, he handed over last year, why is he still standing there? Well, I'm still in a transition and helping out to make sure that we continue on the efforts that we've started to build since 2022. Our first mission was to be the voice of the startups, and of course, as 23 was an elections year, everybody wanted to know what the ecosystem needs. And so we had to structure our ideas in a manifesto and explain it to different parties. And we were very happy when the results showed that in the government program, there was 2 key points that we were advocating, which were part of the government program. This work is, of course, a work of public affairs. We have to meet regularly with the different stakeholders, and we're very proud of how they listen to us and just how open these discussions have been, and also the support we did get to help us articulate our ideas and get them across. So speaking about these 2 elements, the first one is coming. It's a really first big win for the ecosystem. We are about to get an investor incentive scheme. Like in the big other countries, like in the UK, the Seed Enterprise Investment Scheme has had a lot of positive impact. What is it all about? Scan the QR code, you will land on the Chamber of Deputies page where you can find the law, projet de loi, right? So the law draft. It's about giving an incentive for investors to put their money in a startup. We're speaking here of private investors. So you all know the Pareto law, 20% effort, 80% results. Assume in finance it's pretty much the same. If you make investments, the large majority will give no result. Actually, 50% of an investment, if you are a professional VC, just fail. 50% of investments. If you have done 100 investments, 50%, it's lost money. 30% you just get your money back. And then the last 20%, that's where the interesting projects are, and there's usually one big project that just is a home run, as they call it in the venture capitalist world. Now imagine you're an amateur. You just want to help a startup, or you're not doing 100 investments. Well, you can assume that your rate of success is, of course, even smaller. And that's why it is important to give an incentive to private investors to put the money in very early stage projects. So this project, which is now this law project, will give actually a tax credit of up to 20,000 euros if you do an investment of 100,000 euros in an early stage startup. That is very competitive compared to other European countries. And it is being fine-tuned, but it's really a first strong message from the government implementing these things that the ecosystem says it's really needed. Second one coming has been mentioned. The term stock options is a bit taboo in Luxembourg because the old scheme got misused. So we're probably going to rename it something like founder shares schemes. So, also to indicate it is really dedicated to founders. So we've had some feedback that we've had some good meetings already. Progress is happening. September or end of this year, or maybe early next year, we should have a text. So if the investor incentive is going to be applicable law in 26. Expect in 26 also to have a second law coming this time to enable us to share the cake with our employees, which is very important for us as founders. Thank you to all the stakeholders who are supporting us and helping us getting there. I could name them, but I would forget for sure some, but we're getting some true support from the UEL and also from the Chamber of Commerce to get our ideas structured, and how we're being welcomed by the ministries is absolutely phenomenal, and we really look forward to help implement more initiatives in Luxembourg. Thank you. I'm handing over to Marielle, who's going to tell us a bit more about this ecosystem.
Hello everyone, my name is Marielle and I'm the Program and Community Manager at the Luxembourg Startup Association. Today I would like to share with you some insights from a recent survey that we conducted among our startup founders. We had numerous responses ranging from AI to fintech, sustainability and health tech, really giving us a valuable snapshot of the current entrepreneurial climate. If we start with who responded, we had 32% of the respondents which are in the seed stage and 30% are at pre-seed. And the vast majority, which is over 64%, have teams of 5 or fewer people. So this shows that we're really hearing from the true early stage core of our ecosystem. Now, what are the biggest challenges the startups, the entrepreneurs are facing? First and foremost, it's funding. Access to venture capital was rated as a top issue. Bureaucracy and grant processes came a close second. And angel investor availability and delays in public funding were also major concerns. When asked what kind of financial support would help them most, the message was very clear. 77% called for more direct grants, followed by government-backed VC funds and also easier access to loans. Taxes is another point that came up. On average, founders gave Luxembourg tax policies a 2.4 out of 5, so there's room to improve. And top reform requests included R&D tax credits, stock option incentives, and lower corporate tax. Another point is the talent acquisition. Founders rated the ease of attracting talent a 2.2 out of 5. The main pain points that were cited are high salaries, cost of living, but also lack of local talent. But there's optimism because over 73% said that government hiring incentives like startup visas or salary subsidies would significantly help growth. If we come to the point of the ecosystem support, founders are asking for better investor connections, also stronger links with corporates and more accessible office spaces. They also rated government support for startups a 2.9 out of 5, which is also a signal for us to do more. Finally, and lastly, on the last point, which is the international scale-up, most startups feel only moderately supported when it comes to expanding abroad. Key barriers include a lack of global networks and also limited VC interest. 62% said that stronger EU market support would help them scale. All in all, what does this say for us as an association? This feedback is a very powerful call to action for us as an association, but also for policymakers and ecosystem builders. From simplifying funding processes to boosting international reach, there's a clear path forward if we choose to act on it. I would like to thank everyone who participated in the survey, and I will give the word now to Pierre, who will present the Startup Advisor Program. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So one of the difficult things we have as founders is sometimes we have to think about some topics that we never heard about. Someone says to us, it's very important, this thing, you don't know about this thing? And we don't have a clue about it because we never went through it. One of the programs we have created over the last years is the founders, the advisor programs for founders.
our members, and it's something really magical because we connect our members to real people having gone through, the trenches of what it is to scale a company or having a moment of extreme difficulty because a huge competitor just entered the market and you don't know how the hell to do. Your investor starts maybe saying, oof, we don't know about this, and you have to pivot. What is a pivot? I don't know. So this program, which was started 2 years ago, is growing, and I wanted to take the time, because we are talking about magic, to congratulate and thank our mentors, the advisors that having been, helping our startups for free. You have to understand these are very successful people, either in a very high position in a corporate, either founders themselves, which are very busy, running organizations sometimes with hundreds of people, who give their free time to really answer the point that is locking a problem, that is being a locking problem for our members. It's extremely valuable. I'm sure everyone in this room had a moment in the life of many, I hope for you, where a right conversation for a right person unlocked a huge problem, a huge situation. So that's what this program aims to, and I think they are delivering it, and they really rock. And we have a lot of founders joining the program now, which is even nicer because they bring also the practical experience of having done it. So I'd just like to have a round of applause because they are in this room. Thank you very much. It's not for me, I'm thanking for them because they can talk. Every founder is a sales person in a way. So I'm also a salesperson in a way. So I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to read some of the testimonials of, founders that went through the program. And, the main thing that they really, we have a lot of events that are really nice where we gather a lot of people together, as Tom was saying. Ask a VC, we have the opportunity, anyone in the audience, to ask a question to a VC. But a one-to-one, a half an hour, 1 hour, 5 hour sessions, 1 hour after 1 hour, where you track progress and you say, okay, I tried that, this didn't work out, and then the advisor understands better what the problem is and goes deeper and deeper and deeper until you solve it. This is so valuable, and the testimonials we get, we didn't bribe these people with free coffee or something just to make it clear, so we are really happy with the feedback we are having from the people actually having used this system. So we encourage all of our members to try out. We are never 100% sure of everything. If we do, we shouldn't be a founder of a company. So just go to our team, to Marielle, and request your advisory session. It has been very helpful for the founders doing it. Just a quick presentation about the 3 top advisory needs we figured in the program. We don't, just to make it clear, we don't determine that, okay? We ask to our members what would they like to explore, and then we rank and organize this and we structure this, but this comes from real needs. So it's not like we know everything and we just determine what will be treated. Sales and go-to-market, because of course building a company is very nice, but you also have to pay the bills, so selling is important. Legal and IP. This is what we call sleep better at night category, because it can avoid a lot of huge problems down the road. And fundraising, because without the fuel, any rocket can fly. Maybe a plane that is going slowly like this, a planeur, but not a rocket, and we aim to be rockets. So the program this year, the last 12 months, just to give you an idea, we had 41 distinct advisory topics that were addressed, 22 members that employed this. This is as 5-hour sessions, one after the other, to track progress over time, right? Can be shorter if you solve the problem, faster, but it's up to 5 hours. 29 experts, and what's very nice, 21 founders. So we are growing the number of founders, as said before. Now, a little recap of last year. now I will give back the word to Genna, who's going to announce some spicy, crunchy things.
The Pulse team is amazing. Thank you so much, guys. The work that all of these founders dedicate completely just on the mission to help the ecosystem. I think Patrick united us all in the very beginning because we all had that joint ambition to give back to a country that really helped us. So firstly, just kicking off, thank you for the amazing presentation, guys. So that was the past. Now, looking forward, what we really want to focus on is the future, and as an association, what's next for us. So I'll run you through some of our ambitions. Obviously, we are startup founders, and so we have big ambitions. We want things to happen quickly. We want things to happen, at speed in which the local ecosystem probably couldn't have achieved before we arrived. And so, going forward next year, we would like to achieve 500 members. According to the research coming out of Lux Innovation and the Chamber of Commerce and other ecosystem players, there's roughly around 600, a little bit more than 600 startups. We believe that we can have the voice of 500 startups, and we believe once we have our collective voice together, that's the time where we can really make impact. Patrick mentioned the work that we're doing in public affairs. I think it's great to see the ministers really understanding the importance of startups. What we've really focused on is actually ensuring they know the day-to-day of startups. How are startups valued? How do fundraisers happen? How do we attract talent? And I think a lot of the work that we've been doing over the past few months is firstly educating the different ecosystem players on, okay, this is actually how we value a company. This is a seed investment. This is a valuation. This is why stock options are important. So we'll continue doing that educational piece, but now we also want to work towards having more solid actions taken that will really bring about impact. The next focus for us is going to be more on the mature companies. So as you've heard tonight, there are some startups that start in Luxembourg, thanks to a lot of amazing initiatives such as Fit for Start and all of that have managed to bring startups in if they weren't here already. What we're seeing now is the challenge around keeping our scale-ups here in Luxembourg. As a founder, personally, I think when we did our Series A 2 years ago, we didn't really even think about raising our Series A in Luxembourg. We knew that we had to go to London, we knew that we had to go to Paris, we knew that we maybe had to go to the US. So our mission now is to, together with institutions like the LPA, how can we ensure that even startups going into that scale-up phase, going into Series A, can actually remain here in Luxembourg. Scale internationally, that's not a question, but actually ensure that their strong presence remains here in Luxembourg. So we're going to be focusing a lot more on scale-ups as well. We're also going to work hard, as always, to improve the current resources that we provide to our startups. So last year at the summer party, we were very excited to announce the legal toolkit, and that is a living resource. So obviously thanks to Arendt here, who have had a great contribution to that. But we also, now based on our surveys, we're understanding more and more actually what startups need. Maybe the point around better access to grants or public funding, maybe it's not because they don't exist. Maybe it's because the process in which startups have to go through to achieve them or get results for them is maybe not clear enough. So we're really going to dig into a little bit more details around that and provide our startups with the resources that they need. A new focus that we've seen is that the mentality and the idea of an entrepreneur typically comes out very early on. We're seeing now a lot of young people, more than ever before, that are saying, I don't necessarily want to go into a 9-to-5. I actually want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be a startup. I remember back in the day when I was 17 or 18 and I started my first company, and I said, Mum, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Her opinion on that was, oh, you're not going to get a real job. I think that mentality now is significantly changing, and as an association, we believe that fostering that next generation, getting into schools, getting into young people, and making sure that they have a great awareness of what it really takes to build a startup is really important. So watch this space. Another important announcement is You'll see in the coming weeks, you'll see a brand new refurbished website, which we're very proud. Now, why is our website important? Our website is important because it's also the place where our startups go to find the resources they need. It's the location of our legal toolkit. You'll see more and more resources coming up in the tabs. But it also gives our startups the news on our manifesto. It gives them the latest news on how we're working on the public affairs and everything like that. So here's a quick sneak peek. So with new ambition, new goals, new meaty objectives, we believed it was only necessary that after a couple of years of having an extremely incredible and amazing board, that we needed fresh blood. And so now is a time where I'd like to firstly thank the current members that you'll see here. Thanks to Patrick for sticking around, even though he maybe didn't always want to. To Tom, to Pierre, to eLfy, to Christophe, Xavier, Vincent. And now I would like to welcome some new members. So what we really try to do is ensure that, if we are sitting in front of the different ecosystem players, maybe the knowledge that we have as board members isn't suffice. So we've really spent a long time trying to find the right people across different domains that are not currently within our board that can really bring a nice voice. And so I would like to welcome on stage our new members, Angelica, Victor, Mich, and Manuel. Angelica, you can go for it.
Your Royal Highness, Mr. Margue, dear guests and dear startups, it's an honor to join board of Pulse as a founder of Arendt Lab, where we 3D print self-drying bricks made of Luxembourgish soil. And because of that, I participated in quite a few acceleration programs for startups on European and American levels. So my first mission will be to improve the core elements of our local programs for startups. So I'm sure we will meet tonight or in the short future. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Victor Dufour. I'm the founder of Assemble, an AI fashion advisor app. We help people get dressed in the morning, and we launched this last year with my brother. I've gotten over 1 million users so far and continuing to grow like that. I'm joining the board of Pulse because I was born here but spent most of my career working on startups, mostly in the UK, in the US, in other European countries, but not Luxembourg, which is why I thought last year with my brother we should start here. And to give back to our country, I want to focus on the educational part, where I want to inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs and give them the tools that they need to get started and not be lost to the system. Thank you very much.
Your Royal Highness, hello everyone. First of all, I want to apologize because I saw so many of you in suits today. On the hottest day I think we ever had, I came in shorts, so sorry for that. I want to follow up on Bob. You explained how you heard for the first time about Pulse. I want to do the same thing. 2-3 years ago, Marielle, I think we were one of the first companies you pitched the association to. And back then I was quite unsure whether we want to join, because as a company you always got all these requests to join left and right. And then I met with a friend, a mentor of mine, and he said, you crazy, you need to join every association, you need to be everywhere. And that's what we did. We joined, we never looked back. We have seen amazing work being done by the association. So when Pierre, I think it was 2-3 weeks ago, when he called me to ask whether I wanted to join the board, first of all, I felt honored, and I was very happy to join and contribute some of the tech knowledge that I think I can bring to the scene, to the association. And in this regard, thank you everyone. Thanks to the existing board members. And I'm looking forward also with the young blood to, I'm a bit gray now, so maybe not that young anymore, but still looking forward to working with the association. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Manuel Arrillaga. I'm founder of Fresh Half and the Horizon Farms project. First of all, thank you to Genna, Patrick, everybody in the board. I cannot describe in words alone how much it means that you gave me this opportunity, really. As they said, giving back is everything. It's been my truest and sincerest belief for as long as I know that only together can we grow and thrive. And this is exactly what I aim to do with our project. We wanted to create a combination of deep tech and agriculture to bring clean, sustainable, future-proof, climate-friendly farming, local farming back to Luxembourg, to give Luxembourg food sovereignty, but not just here, to anywhere that there are mouths that are hungry. And to really, lastly to say, it is a great honor to be here in front of you. I never thought that I would be in such a place, coming from a little village in Mexico to a country such as this. So in any way that I can, I am reaching my hand out to the community and say, in order to be part of the village, you must be a villager, and here I am. So thank you.
Aren't they amazing? I think when we were speaking around the board table the other day, and they were sort of running through their pitches, and I think all of us said, "Wow." I think, you know, I started Tata in 2011, and if I was pitching like that back in the day, I think I would be a lot further than I am now. So amazing work, guys. Okay, that brings us to the end of the formalities. I think everyone is hot and thirsty. Firstly, a huge thank you to Your Royal Highness. A huge thank you to Minister Margue. Thank you to Mr. Thelen as well for your amazing kind words. And a last huge thank you to our sponsors. As an association, we want to ensure that the members have an accessible way. So we don't want to rely on the funding of the membership fees to fund our association. We want to ensure that we have an option for them to join us, even if they're small, even if they're not generating a lot of revenue. So without our sponsors, we wouldn't be here. A huge thank you to Chamber of Commerce for your sponsorship. A huge thank you to SES, to Post, to Lux Connect, to Arendt as well for hosting us tonight, to Spurkis, to LPA, to Onsico, and to Lux Provide. A huge thank you, and the relationship that we have with our sponsors, as much as possible, we try and make sure that it's bi-directional. So sometimes, they need information about upcoming startups in the ecosystem, and so we really try and provide it to them. So within our position in Luxembourg, it's not only for our startups, it's not only for the ministries, it's not only for the startup ecosystem actors, we're also working really closely with a lot of the corporates to ensure that this ecosystem continues to turn. And on that, I would like to say that the formalities have finished. Thank you so much.